Milk Outside a Bag of Milk is a visual novel that I feel a strong connection to. It explores many aspects of disorders that I personally have or symptoms that I relate to. The game feels really close to home, and I deal with a lot of similar things that the main character does, so it just really hits a narrative itch that I didn't know I needed scratched. I feel catharsis when playing it, and the game is stressful, but in a way that makes me feel like it's self-examination, and it has a strong familiarity to it. The main character, Milk-chan, experiences the psychological death that I experience a lot when we're living past trauma. There are so many wonderfully deep lines that showcase things I was unable to find the words for before playing through the game for the first time over a year ago. Lines that show her inner dialogue trying to make her feel better enough for her to fall asleep, a thing that I notoriously struggle with. The player character is an internal voice of Milk-chan's psyche and a representation of her medication. During the halfway point of the game, she tries to gather her thoughts, but after imagining her thoughts as bugs, they scatter off and she has to face parts of her past to get herself calmed down enough by gathering those thoughts. The music, which you're currently listening to right now, by the way, is an oddly calming yet ominous piece of this wondrous artwork that I use personally when I have staring at the ceiling time, when I need to get lost in thought and disassociate. My two favorite tracks are Death Music, ? And Sleepy. The ending of Milk Outside a Bag of Milk is one of 5 nightmares / dreams that she finally has after weeks and weeks of not having dreams when falling asleep, which she says is something that made her not like sleeping as much as the lack of dreams. So us as her medication, quote unquote, helped her calm down enough to be able to enter REM sleep, which, as someone who's been taking meds since I was 6, I can definitely relate to that on a personal level. Each of her dreams actually has a semblance connection with one of the items that you find the fireflies that are her thoughts during the scattered thoughts scene of the game. The pizza call ending corresponds with the phone, and it's her trying to be friends with someone that is really just talking to her because she's trying to buy a pizza. The dark room that eventually becomes a grassy field is a representation of the swarm of people that exist on the internet. The stairwell is about her depression and her overthinking of everything, as well as the second death scene, which is her imagining herself falling off the balcony. Different scene in the game. And the scene where she takes a boy and helps him with buying milk at the store is a direct overlay with the first game's events, which follow those exact events, even to the point where it's "You're not very much help, are you?" is how that ends, as well as how the bad end of Milk Inside a Bag of Milk ends. The 5th ending, because I forgot what number I was on, is the one where she wakes up multiple mornings in a row with a distorted or twisted appearance to what she should normally look like, and then says she's fine anyway, and goes to school. And it always feels less okay as it continues until her face is gone in the final part, and she feels better about it for some reason. So it's definitely like a feeling that being unnoticed makes it so that you stand out less, so you're less likely to get targeted by bullying or something along the like. I could go into this further, but this game is really deep despite it being only like a 2-hour experience. I feel that these connections to past events and past trauma really click with me, and it's a really fascinating game to play through. In summation, Milk Outside a Bag of Milk is a game that I have played numerous times, and despite it being tagged as a psychological horror, it calms me in ways that I cannot describe. I feel a genuine connection to how the issues I personally experience are showcased through this troubled woman's struggles with the encroaching night and the difficult task of sleeping when the silence of the world is so loud. Thank you.
Partially unscripted, partially unscripted, partially unscripted. I gave myself bullet points. Partially unscripted, partially unscripted, partially unscripted, but most of it was planned.